Well, again, thanks for coming on, Russ.
My pleasure.
You've opened up now in Oran Park.
Yep.
How's it all going?
It's going really well. It was a long journey, so we've sort of been planning to open our second space. We have the one in St Grange, CrossFit Narellan, but we've been planning on opening up our second space for like the last 18 months now.
Yeah.
And then the process was extra long again. So we sort of found the building in January, and it's just taken that long to finish the building, get the lease signed, get all the council checks in balance and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's been going really well now.
Yeah. It's a bit of a process. I've been through it as well.
Yeah.
And dealing with council isn't fun.
No, they can be difficult, but like I understand why. There's a lot of cowboys out there that like to run wild, but the good thing about us is we like to get all that council stuff sorted in the beginning and plan for where we're going to be in, say, 2-3 years' time.
Yeah.
If we can do that, we know we're sort of sorted, yeah.
So take me back to how you got into this in the first place. Give me a bit of a background on what your journey's been like to getting to this point now.
Been a long time. So we opened CrossFit Narellan in 2014. Before that, like I grew up with sport, so I was sort of a very athletic kid, but I didn't love to work hard. I was a very skinny, sort of string bean kid, but I loved football, loved cricket, loved all sports. So I knew that that's where I was going to head in my career. I started to do my Cert 3 and 4 in personal training, and that was at ACPE in Homebush.
Yep.
This was, I think, about 2011. And I met a guy, that my instructor there, Paul Bullatow. He realised that I was kind of okay at running. Yep. I could do a bit of weight on the bench press. I did some pull-ups, and he said, like, maybe CrossFit would be for you. And he brought in an old article from the CrossFit Journal, and I read it, and I was like, this sort of all makes sense to me. So I started to kind of do CrossFit by myself, and there's still a couple of videos if you scroll back long enough on my Instagram from in my parents' backyard, right, with a little 10 kilo barbell that if you loaded too much weight on there, it would just sag like that. I made a medicine ball out of a basketball, filled up with sand, and made my own plyo box, all that sort of stuff. And then that slowly progressed, and I started to enjoy it more and more. And then I started to work at a gym in St Grange. It was called CrossFit Gem. This was in around 2012, 2013, maybe end of 2012, start of 2013. And it was, at the time, it was just a women's only gym. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of the first guy there, and I was coaching classes, and I loved it. It was amazing. It was a great learning experience for me to figure out like how a gym works. Still to this day, I've never been a member of a CrossFit gym, which is weird.
Right. Okay.
But I met my business partner, Jay, when they opened up to men. He signed up as a member there. So I started to coach Jay. And then within about 6 months, he went and did his CrossFit level 1 course, and I remember he gave me a phone call when he was driving home from it, and he said, have you ever thought about opening a gym? And I was like, yeah, but I don't have the money, don't have the experience, don't have any expertise. And he was like in the same position, but he's like, we can figure it out. So
very much like Jay, I think.
Yeah. And that's one thing we've learned over the years, right, is you're just going to figure it out.
That's right.
And then within about probably a month from there, we signed a lease on our first space, which was on Millwood Avenue in Narellan.
Yep.
And we were there. At that time, I was working in a Pizza Hut. Jay was working in a warehouse, like a box warehouse, and we were both using that money to pay for the rent for the building for about the first 6 months before we had enough clients to pay for the rent, right? And then that sort of skyrocketed from there, and we outgrew that space because it was quite small. It wasn't much bigger than this room here.
Yep.
Then we moved into our second space, which was on Graham's Hill Road, literally a stone's throw away from the first space, which was huge, way too big for us. We bit off a little more than we could chew with that one. And we were there for a long time. We were there for maybe about 6 years. And then in that time, I started my uni degree. Sorry, I know I'm going on a long time here, mate, but I did my uni degree in that time.
Yep.
I became a train driver in that time. Yep. I did that for around 5 years. Jay was a firefighter during that time as well. And then in around 2022, we moved into our current space in St Grange. And around that time, I had a lot of life changes, right? So I'd just been married to my beautiful wife, Meg. Shout out, Meg. Meg had a miscarriage. So we fell pregnant the first time and Meg had a miscarriage. And I was sort of at a crossroads in my life. I felt like train driving was a lucrative career. You make a lot of money driving trains. But I didn't feel like it was the right lifestyle to have kids and a family and be able to operate a business. So with the support of my wife, I quit a very lucrative job to go work in, at the time, which was sort of a hobby. It wasn't really a serious business. It was kind of a hobby. And without Meg's support, obviously, like none of that would have happened. But at that point, that's when Jay and myself really started to focus on deliberate decisions about the business. So we started to focus on what our plan was, where we're going to go. And then since then, it's just all been history, right? It's been serious growth. And it's a long answer to a short question, Sam, but it's just been such a fun journey where the first 6 or 7 years all kind of happened by accident. And then when we started to take things more seriously, it got more serious.
It's an incredible journey. Yeah. You guys have done very, very well. So you were in it very early on then, like back in 2011 or 2012. I don't think many people were talking about, well, not as much as they are now. They're not talking about CrossFit back then. No,
and definitely not in Australia, right? CrossFit was very American-centric for the first, so it kind of started early 2000s, right? For the first 10-ish years. I think the first affiliate in Australia was around 2007, 2008 maybe.
Yeah.
So we've been an affiliate now for 12 years and it's been an awesome thing to watch the changes through CrossFit too, because it has changed a lot since we first started and now.
How so, like in terms of programming or the way it's marketed or?
All of it, right? So when a lot of people misunderstand the concept of a CrossFit gym. So there's other fitness models out there like your F45s and your BFTs and all that sort of thing. And most of them are franchises. So there's an owner and you lease a franchise of them. You pay them a percentage of your turnover.
Yes. Yep.
Normal franchise stuff. CrossFit's actually just an affiliate. So all you do is pay X amount per year to use the name.
Like holding the CrossFit name.
Yep. And that's it.
Okay.
That's all you get. And
so it's a set fee.
Yes, yeah, and it's a few things have changed, right? So it used to be that the early affiliates were paying like $500 a year.
Oh, is that
because Greg Glassman, the guy that started CrossFit, he wasn't trying to make money off affiliates. He just wanted to give them an opportunity to spread CrossFit to more people. But then as it started to get more serious, more problems would arise, right? So every year or 6 months or whatever it was, they would raise the price. Not the case now. Everyone pays the same price now.
Yeah.
But the way it works and all that they promise is that you can use the CrossFit name. Now, CrossFit are actually doing an awesome job. So when we first signed up to become an affiliate, that is all it was.
Yeah.
You paid to use the name.
No other support, no other...
They would send you an email 12 months later and say, hey, here's your affiliate fee. And you would pay it and then you'd be an affiliate for another 12 months, right? That was it.
Yeah.
Now it's very, very different. There is so much support, so many resources that you can get. And CrossFit actually do an amazing job of helping you grow your business. Mm-hmm. And especially the Australian team. We've got 2 people in Australia that look after us. Lily Free, who is the Australian affiliate manager, but she also works on all the training staff, and Ed Morrison. And I've got a good personal relationship with those guys too. They're both awesome people and I love to work with them. And they look after all the affiliates in Australia.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's evolved a lot since...
Yeah, it has, and that's not it, right? Like it's I often joke now. The early
like the adopters,
early adopters of CrossFit, right? Like they'd come in and do a trial session, and you could just make them throw up.
Yeah,
and they'd be addicted immediately, right? Yeah. Like they were those kind of people, and we're past that now. Like we have a more discerning potential member now, and we need to give them a better service than we did 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
I know you guys do a good job at that. So do you screen people when they come in and put them through like a bit of an introductory session as well?
Absolutely. So generally the journey for new clients would be they would do a trial session.
Yep.
Just to experience it, right? Because I think of CrossFit as like I think about food, right?
Yep.
And so cooking yourself a meal's good and you won't be hungry after. You don't enjoy it that much. If you go to a chef and they prepare you a meal and it's just you, nice. You enjoy the meal and you're not hungry after.
Yeah.
But for me, food is best when it's shared, right? You're with a big group of people, someone who's experienced prepares it for you, and you can enjoy it with each other.
Analogy, I like
yeah,
that.
and CrossFit's like that, right? So we want their first experience to not be a one-on-one personal training session where it's quiet in the gym and you feel a little intimidated. We want it to be fun. We want them to experience what our classes are about. Then after that, every new member that we have who hasn't done CrossFit before, they go through 3 foundation sessions. So this is where we're going to teach them the basic sort of movements, terminology. As you know, CrossFit it's almost like another language, right? It can be confusing. Yeah. And just sort of get them set off on the right foot so that when they go into a group class, they don't feel that craziness and they don't feel like they're a step behind.
Yeah. And I guess your experience comes into play here. So you're a exercise scientist.
Yeah.
You've got a degree in exercise science, and then you've got years under your belt as a personal trainer, and you're a level 3 strength coach for CrossFit.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that all helps when you're taking somebody through those processes as well.
For sure, right? And like, I think a formal education is really important. I think it's something that, and like when I say formal, I mean dedicating time to your craft. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go to university, but I think you should always be trying to improve yourself, regardless of whether it's to improve your client's physical capabilities, meaning teaching movements, learning to teach movements better, or whether it's like psychological practice, right? Like teaching your clients to be mentally stronger, have a growth mindset, that sort of thing, right? And all of my education has led up to me being able to provide a better service, absolutely. But a lot of it, right, and I know you feel the same, Sam, it's on-the-job learning.
It is.
You need to do it and test and trial and see how it works and where you could go from there. And I think that's one of the beauties of CrossFit, right, is it kind of, when it started, it's the guy that started it, Greg Glassman, he called it open source.
Yeah.
And what he meant by that is that anyone can contribute to it. It's not meant to be something where it's rigid and there's a yes or no answer to it. There's always meant to be grey area, and you're meant to find your progress and what works for you in that grey area.
That's interesting. On CrossFit, and I get this a lot, and a lot of people, you mentioned before F45 and BodyFit and all these other franchises, there's sometimes a misconception of what CrossFit actually is. And sometimes people either talk about it in a very positive light and other people refer to it as a cult. Where do you think people are getting things wrong? Like, what's the misconception here about CrossFit? And I know you can talk about this for hours.
I could talk about this for hours. And I think I'm a good person to answer this question, Sam, because I spent about the first 5 years that we owned the gym arguing with trolls online. And just like bashing them and trying to discredit them. But I don't think that's the right way to do it anyway.
Well, they're still around.
They are. And I think a lot of the misconceptions about CrossFit come from a place of misunderstanding about it. I guess the first thing to talk about is what is CrossFit, right? Like a lot of people don't actually know what it is. For me, the way I like to describe CrossFit to people is it's a lifestyle change fitness program, right? And that's what it's all about. And the CrossFit didn't reinvent the wheel. And I don't think anyone has ever claimed that. All that CrossFit did was find all these movements that they felt worked and sort of package them in a way that's simple and you can teach it to other people. So I want to go back. You had a fella on your podcast recently, Luke Curry. Who said it. He said a couple of things that I really resonate with, and I think Luke's had a bit to do with the CrossFit community over the years as well. So the first one was that I'm probably going to go full CrossFit mode here. I love CrossFit, but it doesn't mean I don't love fitness, right? And what Luke said that I think is really important is consistency is key. So whatever you choose to do, it doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if people go for a 30-minute walk every day, as long as they can stick to it. Because when you look into the science around exercise, the number one determining factor for success is adherence. So if you're going to turn up and do that thing, perfect, right? Do it. And the other thing that Luke said that I really resonated with was, if you can't define it, you shouldn't be teaching it.
100% spot on. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, you shouldn't put people on the spot, but it's a funny experiment. So if you go to someone who's outside the CrossFit community and they are training someone for fitness and you ask them what fitness is, they probably won't have an answer to it. They won't have a direct answer. Like they'll say something about, being able to run or whatever. And all I feel that, well, CrossFit's biggest contribution to health and fitness has just been about defining terms, I think. So the first one that I think it's important to talk about to explain what CrossFit is, to go back to what I was talking about before, CrossFit has a really short definition of CrossFit. Yep. So it's constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity.
That makes sense. That's what I picture when I think about CrossFit.
Yeah, and this is where I think step one.
I didn't know that, by the way.
So phrase one is where the confusion starts, right? Because constantly varied is probably where the first sort of CrossFit bashing started from. The first two words, constantly varied, because people hear varied and they think random.
Yes.
So they think that what you're doing in CrossFit gym is just kind of guesswork and you'll see what happens, right?
Yeah.
But like a simple linear periodization program is varied. Mm-hmm. You're going to increase volume.
Something's changing. Volume, frequency, intensity.
And it doesn't need to go from 1 rep to 15 reps to be variance. Going from 5 reps to 4 reps is a varied stimulus, right?
Yep.
And that's where the first sort of confusion starts, I think, is that people think that varied means whatever.
Random.
Yeah, when it doesn't need to be. And like I said before, there's a lot of grey area. Yeah. And I think that's a positive thing in this light, because if you open a CrossFit gym, Sam, you could do your version of it.
Uh-huh.
If I open a CrossFit gym, I do my version of it.
Yes.
If Steve over there opens a CrossFit gym, he does his version of it. And we're going to find out what works and what works really well. The second part of that is functional movements, which I think is the least confusing part of it, right? And this is where CrossFit sort of do a really good job of explaining what they are. Mm-hmm. They talk about the normal functional movement definitions like compound, multi-joint. They mimic what happens in your everyday life. But I think they've delved a little bit deeper, and they say that functional movements do 3 things. They lift large loads, they move them long distances, and they do so quickly.
Uh-huh.
And that's those 3 things are really important. They come back later when you explain CrossFit, right? But large loads, meaning, say, in a squat, you're going to be able to lift a much bigger load than if you do a bicep curl.
Yes.
Makes sense, right?
So this is them defining a functional movement.
Yeah. And then a long distance would be the bar, like a bar traveling further in a clean and jerk than it would in a leg extension.
Yep.
And then quickly, that's when you bring power into it. So bringing time into it, shorter time equals more power, longer time, shorter power, right? Mm-hmm. And then the third part of that sentence is, so it's constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity. Yep. And this is where the other big confusion comes from, I think, because, and CrossFit sort of moved to this later, intensity is relative.
To each individual.
Exactly, right? So it would be negligent of me for you to come in and you to bring an elderly relative with you, and I'm going to say, both of you are doing 50 burpees right now.
Yeah.
Right? That's negligent. And that's not what CrossFit is supposed to be. Intensity is relative to physical tolerances, but also psychological tolerances. Uh-huh. And the other thing that I think is that even some CrossFit gyms don't nail is that intensity is also modulated day to day, or it should be modulated day to day, meaning if you go in and train on a Monday after you've been in that beautiful sauna out there on a Sunday and then you're rested, you feel amazing. You can go 10 out of 10 intensity if you want to, but then by the time Wednesday comes around, your 10 out of 10 is not here anymore. Your 10 out of 10 is down here.
We naturally fatigue as the week goes by as well, or the stuff that we've done prior to coming in.
Exactly. And like, that's a short snapshot of what CrossFit is. And what we've talked about there is sort of, there's still no black or white answers. It's still left up to interpretation. And that's very, very deliberate, I think. And that's where I think the first confusion arises is, what is CrossFit?
Yep. So do you think, so you said that I can open up a CrossFit gym down the road and do something entirely different to what you're doing.
Yep.
There's no right programming for CrossFit, is there?
No, and I think that CrossFit has given out a North Star that everyone needs to focus on. So there are many different ways to get to that, right? And I think that this is the next thing that CrossFit really defined well, and this is fitness, right? So CrossFit's definition of fitness is work capacity across broad time and modal domains, which if you just hear it like that, it's kind of like word vomit and it doesn't make sense. And it's something that every single CrossFit gym, when you write one line of a workout, that's what you should be thinking about. I'm trying to increase my members' ability to do more work across broad time and modal domains. Yeah. And like if you break that down a little bit further, so work capacity is just the ability to do work, right? Meaning, like I spoke about before, if I get you to do, say, drop and give me 50 burpees right now, Sam, and it takes you, I'll take a guess, maybe 3 minutes 30, somewhere around there, right?
A little bit lower than that.
Well, but then you come back in a month's time and you do it again and you do it in 2 minutes 30, you've increased your work capacity, right? That's all work capacity is. And to bring it back to what I said before, the equation for work is force or weight times distance over time. So keeping things consistent and then doing them faster means is a simple way to realize that your work capacity is increasing. Right. And then the other part of that sentence is across broad time and modal domains. And this is where, going back to what you asked before, Sam, this is where a lot of confusion comes back about CrossFit as well, is bodybuilders will watch a CrossFitter and say, you're not going to build the most muscle doing that. And the perfect answer from a CrossFitter would be, I agree. And then a marathon runner would watch them and say, you're not going to be able to run a marathon as fast as I can by doing that. I agree, right? But sure as hell, the CrossFitter is going to run a marathon faster than the bodybuilder.
Yes.
Right? And that's where people misunderstand CrossFit. You're not trying to be the best at everything. You're trying to be build a broad fitness, right? And it lends itself to being able to do anything whenever you want to. So like as a CrossFitter, I should be able to tomorrow, without preparing for it, go and run a half marathon. Or compete in a powerlifting competition. Doesn't mean I'm going to win either of them.
But you still have the ability to do it.
Exactly. And I'm going to be generally, mostly, like if you're a good CrossFitter, you're going to be above average. Right?
On that note, I think CrossFit talks about something called the fitness continuum. So when you're, I think it's like a graph of when you're sick and then when you're well and then when you're fit. It comes back to what you're saying here now. Can you explain that a little bit further?
Absolutely. So CrossFit has 4 fitness models. As they're kind of like theoretical models, to explain how you get to the definition of fitness. So the first 3 are about fitness, and the sickness, wellness, fitness continuum is the 4th one, right? And I think it's the most important. For me, it's the one that summarizes what most CrossFitters should focus on. So what it explains is that your normal health markers, meaning blood pressure, triglycerides, heart rate, body fat percentage, muscle mass, anything that you want. It has a value that is sick, it has a value that is well, and it has a value that is fit. And you can measure all those things, and you're going to be put somewhere on that graph. You're going to be somewhere between sick and fit, right? And what it explains is that being in a fit capacity and your biomarkers being in that fit state, it gives you protection against disease, meaning that before you get to being sick, pathologically sick,
you have to pass through well.
Which is going to take, for me, it takes as long to get back to the sick than it does to get to fit. So if it takes you 2 years to get to that level of fitness, you're going to be protected for a decent amount of time from sickness. And you know yourself, Sam, one of the only things that improves all-cause mortality is exercise, right? And you know that you don't need it to be, and like this all ties in together to other misconceptions about CrossFit, right? It doesn't need to be the CrossFit Games to get you fit. That's one of the crazy things I see is that people get scared. They see Tia Claire Toomey on TV and they get a little bit scared.
They're intimidated. And
they're like the 1% of the 1%, right? And that's like me saying, going to do 200 meters at the local pool. and saying, oh, I don't want to compete against Michael Phelps.
It's like any sport.
I'm not going to, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not going to happen. And you don't need to be that serious about it to get into the well state, meaning blood pressure 120 over 80.
Yeah.
Maybe as a man, 18% body fat, decent amount of muscle mass. And then as you progress, if you just stay consistent with things, you're going to get towards that.
Naturally, you'll start to move towards the fitness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're going to have seasons in your life, right? Like when I met you, you were more into the powerlifting side of things. I think you just come off doing a lot of powerlifting. Now you're into running a lot more, right? And you're in a different state. Like your cardiovascular system is probably a lot stronger now. You probably can't deadlift 1 million kilos like you used to, but you don't need to.
Yep.
Right? And the other important thing that I think CrossFit did is they made everyone realize that fitness and health are not two different things. They're both measures of the same thing. Mm-hmm. And the way CrossFit define health is work capacity across broad time, modal, and age domains. So meaning how well you maintain your fitness over your lifespan. That's how CrossFit defines health. And it doesn't need to be max effort every single day to achieve that, right?
Yeah, that's important. I think a lot of people have that misconception where they have to be competing at a very elite level or training like a elite athlete to get to that fit sort of range, but it's not necessarily the case.
Absolutely not. And
consistency is very important.
It's key, right? And being able, to me, in the place I'm at in my life now, I've got 2 young kids. I don't have a lot of time. I'm over the moon when I can turn up and train for an hour a day.
Yeah.
I don't care about what I'm doing, and I don't care if I can lift more weight than I did 5 years ago when I had no kids, train for 3 hours a day. All I care is that I'm able to do my hour of exercise, maybe give it a 75, 80% effort, go home, play with my kids. That's all I'm worried about.
Yeah. Priorities change.
Absolutely.
And on that, you've got 2 kids now. You've got a newborn that just, how old?
She's 2 weeks old yesterday, so very, very new, and not, I have a ready-made excuse for if any of my answers are terrible today, Sam. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. My wife got less, but I didn't get a lot. Yeah.
Those first few months are a bit of a roller coaster. So since having your kids now, has your definition of success changed?
Yeah, definitely. And it's for the better. I think when you have, it's really easy to be selfish when it's just you that you're worried about, and your priorities are going to absolutely shift immediately.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that I've realized the most is that your most important commodity, and it's so cliche, but it's time, right? And if you are sacrificing time with your kids when you don't have to, I think that would be a silly decision. And my dream now is just to be able to run my businesses, work when I am able to work, and then spend time with my family when I'm not, right? Yeah. And being able to have that choice is such a blessing. Like, I'm so blessed that I can do that and still operate successful businesses. It's a real blessing, yeah.
I think when you get to this point, you realize that is the definition of success. It's not necessarily about the amount of money that you're making or what level you are at in your career, but it's about having that freedom and flexibility to spend time with the people that you love. Yeah,
and I know we talked about this before we sort of started recording, Sam. You've been a great role model for me for that, because when I first started to see you were treating regularly, I used to come to you for treatment, and then you told me that you were no longer going to be treating clients, and I thought you might have been like a bit of a crazy person. But I've realised that if you want to have a bigger impact anyway, you can't be hands-on 24/7. Yeah. Your impact is limited to the time that you have then. And that's where you've been a great example for me, Sam, to see Thank you. Like how much growth you've had. Like you were in that building just over there, and you've now moved to this big, beautiful space, and you have all these staff working for you. And it's sort of like a roadmap for me too. So thank you.
That's all right. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. On that again then, Russ, so you're still doing quite a lot in saying that. You're still competing, I believe. Kind of.
Yeah. The knees don't like it. I do a little bit, but the knees aren't a fan.
Yeah. But then you've got the kids and you're managing a team and you're running the businesses. How do you manage your work-life balance, or do you have anything like set in stone to help you balance things a little bit better?
I think
or is that concept just out the window when you are as busy as you are?
Yeah, I think I like to relate it back a lot to passion. So I was very, very sort of blessed to accidentally find my passion when I was 21 years old, right? Like I found CrossFit when I was 21 years old just by accident.
Yep.
Nothing happened deliberately.
It's almost like you stumbled across it.
Yeah, it is 100%. And it's, for me, it's been just kind of like a ball rolling down a hill, right? Just gets like, builds up more speed. But it's been such a fun thing to like grasp over time, is that it doesn't need to be all at once. Yeah. Go back to your question. Sorry, what did you say? Sorry.
About balance.
Sorry. Yeah. So for me, having that passion, it means that when I'm not doing something that's important, meaning spending time with my kids, my wife, my family, I'm at a birthday party, whatever, I'm generally working on my business or watching a CrossFit documentary or learning about how to coach people better or reading a leadership book, right? Because it's not...
You enjoy it.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. And I love self-improvement and I love helping to improve other people, right? It's not... And I don't see balance as something that is necessary for me because of how much I enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
And I think balance is necessary. But as long as you have the self-awareness to say, hey, I've gone too far down the rabbit hole now. My daughter's behind me asking me to play Lego with her. Let's go and do a bit of Lego.
Switch off and play.
Yeah, as long as you have the ability to realise when that's happening, or like I'm sure you have, Sam, a wonderful wife that can give you a bit of a kick up the bum.
We're both very blessed, I think.
Yeah, they can give you a kick up the bum and say, hey, over here, your family's over here.
Yep.
Every now and then you're going to need it.
Yep.
That's all you need to find that balance, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And it's hard sometimes to do that. But that's when the kick up the bum helps. And
yes, it does. Yeah. Sometimes it's from your kids too.
It is, yeah. Wait until they get a little bit older and you've got girls, so you'll experience what I'm experiencing at the moment.
My 2.5-year-old is already my boss.
Oh, yeah.
And it's such a roller coaster too. They go from, within 2 minutes last night, my daughter made me laugh and made me cry. Like she told me I was a little grub. That was her exact words, you're a little grub. And then as I put her to bed, she said, you're a good dada.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you for looking after me. And I just I couldn't help it. I just had tears rolling down my face. And that's, I think, the beauty of having daughters, right? Is they soften you a bit.
They do, yeah. I've got one of each. I've got a boy and a girl. And I love them both to death. They're very different though in personality type. And my son, I can be a little bit harsher with him. But he's very soft and gentle at the same time. And my daughter is exactly like that as well. She'll say something direct and harsh to me, but then the next second she'll turn around and say, I love you so much. So,
well, I think that's one thing I realised about you pretty quick, Sam, is that your superpower is the ability, I think you're a mix of your kids, right?
Yeah.
You've got the ability to be gentle but firm at the same time. I don't think many people have that. So maybe they're just part of your personality each, mate.
I think so.
Yeah.
Look, with CrossFit, Russ, I think, we can extend off that. You've got a great personality where people can kind of mesh with you straight away almost. You can connect with people straight away. And as a result of that, what I've seen from the clients that go and train at your gym, you've built an incredible community. What do you think you're doing differently to all these other gyms in the area or across the state that has helped you form such a great community with CrossFit Narellan and now CrossFit Oran Park? Because they all talk very highly of you and your services and the way you run things. And
I think, firstly, and for the first probably 7 years we operated, definitely luck.
There's always an element of luck.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we are very lucky that we do attract a certain kind of people that we get along with, right?
Yeah.
I think second to that is the last couple of years, we've really nailed in on our values in our business. And we've got 3 values that we sort of use to help make decisions. We have more values for our staff and staff behaviours, but our 3 that we use to help make decisions are fitness, fun, and friendship. And it's in that order specifically, right? So fun and friendship are great, but people come to us to get fitter. So that needs to be our first priority always. Yeah. And then if we can use the other 2 to help decide whether someone's a good fit for our gym, I think that's really important, right? And focusing on fun and friendship over other fitness related things, I think has been a big change for us, and it's helped us to attract great people who help us do great things and help us progress, right?
Yeah. Well, it's hard because sometimes people just try and take on as many people as they like, and there's no sort of filtering system, whether that means going through an initial induction process or asking them the right questions to see if this is even the right fit for them. But
and I think that Greg Glassman, I know I've brought up his name a few times, the guy that founded CrossFit, he said something early on that I think really resonated with me is CrossFit is for anybody, meaning it doesn't matter of your physical capabilities, your age, gender, none of those things really matter, but CrossFit's not for everybody.
I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
It's, anybody can do it, but it's not for everybody, meaning it attracts a certain kind of people and they have certain qualities in common, and that's what sort of builds into a community of people. It's not that they're all the same.
Yeah.
We have different ethnicities, we have different ages, we have a 50-50 mix of men and women.
Yeah.
We have...
Oh, that's pretty good. Not many gyms
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
like it's 50.5 to 49.5. We have Jill, I won't mention her age, but Jill's a grandma to many kids.
Well, I've seen a lot of your clients, and some of them are
Jill,
like,
you know Jill Wiggins, yeah.
Some of them are 55, some of them are 65, and then there's some that are
Exactly
quite young.
Yeah, and we've got teenagers. Mick Shearer, who's one of our coaches, he's got all of his kids at the gym now.
And you do run kids classes, don't you?
We do. We run kids classes as well. Our coach Cormac runs kids class. He does a great job with those. But what, like, going back to what I was saying, Sam, is that I think the number one quality that helps people fit in our gym is a bit of grit, right? Like the people that will turn up regardless of how they're feeling, whether they hate the workout or not. Like there's a girl that comes to our gym, Dana, I'll give her a shout out. I looked at our attendance a couple of days ago, and this year she's done 253 sessions. And we're open 6 days a week, and you can do one session a day. So I think mathematically, I think she's maybe missed 2 or 3 sessions the entire year.
Yeah, wow.
And someone like Dana, she's like the little engine that could, right? Dana's not the fittest person at the gym. She's not the most skilled person at the gym, but you can be guaranteed that she continues to make progress over time. And I did Dana's very first introductory session, I think it was about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. Completely different person now than she was when she started.
So that's a testament to the great work that you guys are doing there. And then also it goes to show that consistency over time can change a person. Yeah.
And I think that it doesn't need to be, like we've spoke about it many times in this, Sam, it doesn't need to be all or nothing.
Yeah.
As long as you turn up and put some effort in,
yeah,
that's all that matters. And I think I'll give another one of our staff members a shout out here too, Tiff. Tiff's like our little Swiss Army knife, partly because she's about 4 foot tall, but also because she sort of does a few different roles. But Tiff's main role now is client success manager. So what Tiff does now, and this is where really consistency and attendance comes into it, Tiff's main job is to call clients of ours and text clients of ours and contact clients of ours that haven't attended for a period of time. Because we know that we don't want to lose people. We want them to stay at our gym, not for money reasons. Like that's not the biggest issue now. Our biggest issue is getting people fitter and changing people's lives, right? And we know how important Tiff's job is in calling those people and getting them to come back into the gym. So that's a big part of a reason why we have such a sort of consistent and healthy community, I think.
And that's important. Sometimes people just need that nudge, and for whatever reason they might have dropped off. We do something similar with the Pilates studios that we've got. And this is another reason why I wanted to have a chat with you, because there aren't many, unfortunately, genuine people in the industry. And I like how you guys are genuinely wanting to change people's lives for the better. And you're right, it's not about the money sometimes. It's about calling them and trying to make them fitter and healthier. And that's the goal, I guess.
And you know this, Sam, if one client cancels their membership at our gym, that's not going to send our gym broke.
That's right,
But that doesn't mean we care about that any less than the other people that we have that come to our gym. We want them to stay, and it's not for our selfish reasons.
It's for their benefit.
Exactly, and that's part of the thing you need to come to terms with, I think, when you own a fitness business too, is it is hard to sell memberships, and I'm sure you hated that when you first started, and you probably still hate it now,
right? Yeah, that's right, yep.
But what you need to realise is that you're selling your clients something that changes their life for the better. And if you have that full belief in it,
it's easier to sell.
Easy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. One last question, Russ.
Yeah.
If you had to leave your kids with one lesson, not necessarily about fitness, but on how to live or something about life in general, what would that be?
Like we've talked about, Sam, I think I've been pretty blessed across my life, especially a lot of the time I've just kind of put my head down and worked on something, and then it's miraculously kind of evolved into something that's awesome.
Yeah.
And like God's played a big part in my life. So I think the first part of it for my kids, I think my main piece of advice would be to have faith. And that's twofold for me, right? Have faith in God. God's got your back, right? Like I know you feel the same way about that too. But I think in a more sort of earthly sense, it's really important to have faith in your ability to figure things out.
Yeah.
Like I want my daughters to know that they're born with like 2 eyes, 2 ears, working hands and fingers, legs, arms, everything they need to have the success they want. So if you don't know the answer just yet, have faith in your ability to figure it out, right? Because you can. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Russ.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me in, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Legend, thanks.